How about now? Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry that today we have to be in a smaller room, not in a big room. Some kind of technical problem. But the idea to learn Torah is no matter where you are. In a heat, in a cold, inside, outside. When the speaker is boring, when it's very good, doesn't matter. Right? Why? Because you have to aim that you want to listen to the word of the creator of the world. All the other one is not so relevant. Person aim, God, I came to listen to what you told us. Then it doesn't matter. Actually, when it's boring, it's the reward of the learning is much higher. I'll give you an example. There are many things today. Yeah, you can sit in the other side. I mean, there's not enough room. What can we do? We're going to have problems because we have more people coming. You can sit anywhere you want. You can move this separation. Just move it and add more chairs. Push it back and add more chairs. Okay, go ahead. Shh. So, if a person learns something that is not so interested, like sacrifices, things that are not so relevant to our generation, obviously he would like to learn something that's relevant to every day, no? Or that is more interesting. Just the fact that he learns Torah because God says to learn Torah every day, then it's a bigger reward. Okay? So not always is good to come to interesting lecture. Not that the lecture tonight will be boring, don't worry. I'm just saying, just in case. Tonight we chose a topic. We're running out of topics after all these years. How many topics you can find? We have hundreds of topics in the website. So we're going to speak about laziness. And of course I'll mix it with many examples from life to make it more interesting. The last lecture we did 2 weeks ago, not here in Queens, was about anger. I had an amazing response from so many people about that lecture that it finally explained to them the importance of not getting angry and the purpose of the entire life of a person, how to improve his character. Anger is one of the worst things for a person to have. But tonight we're speaking about laziness. Laziness. We see right away when we review the world before we go into religion, before we see what God told us. Okay, for those of you, I see some new faces here. I don't have now the time to prove to all of you that the Torah is divine. If you want to know that the Torah is divine, I can put my life on the line. How is that? That once you watch my film, Torah and Science, you'll never ever have doubts if the Torah is divine or not. How do I know? More than 100,000 people watch it, and I didn't find one that wasn't convinced. That's called certainty, chazakah. It will happen one way or the other. And if you say you are not convinced, you're a liar. I know for sure. Why? If I put 2 oranges here and 2 here, and I put them together and I ask how much is that, I prove that it's 4. If you tell me it's 5, I can care less what you say. Why do I care? I know I proved to you it's 4. The rest, it doesn't matter. You can lie until tomorrow. I don't know if I ever told you that, but one time when I was sitting and learning in yeshiva, one guy came to me and said, my friend is outside. He doesn't believe in a Torah and he doesn't believe in anything. Do you want to speak to him? I said, listen, it's noisy here. Everybody screams, learning Gemara. He said, okay, so do you mind coming outside? We'll sit in a car. I brought him all the way here. So I went outside. I'm sitting with this guy for maybe 2.5, 3 hours. I gave him so many proofs, like a complete seminar. And after almost 3 hours, well, now by then we have audience already. We have all the people who pass by, they see 2 arguing. We left the door open, summertime, to get some breeze. So, kids, young guys, men, women, standing like this, like a show. Me against him, a debate on the street. A debate on the street. After almost 3 hours, I asked him, let me ask you now. Okay, enough. Okay, fine. The debate is over. Did I convince you that the Torah is divine or not? Now, as a part of what I do, I learned body language. Body language tells a lot about the person that you're speaking to. Actually, as a matter of fact, when you have a conversation with a person, if you know body language, that's okay, no problem. Shh. It's okay, it's okay. If, as a matter of fact, when you speak to a person, the body language, if you know how to read it, tells you a lot more than what the person's mouth says. The person can give you an hour speech by the way he behaves, the way he moves, the things that he touches in his body, the way his eyes. When he speaks, you know a lot more about him than what he says. You know if he's lying, you know if he's insecure, you know if he's full of pride, his ego is exploding, too much ego. You know many things about him. You know if he's arrogant, you know if he's angry, you know if he's a constant liar. You know a lot of things about a person. By the way he moves, by the way he walks, by the way his arms are stretched when he walks. You know a lot of things. The Torah, the Kabbalah teaches a lot about a person. Today, there are all kinds of seminars to learn body language and books. But we know by Chazal it's much better than the books of today. What we have in the Torah, this is all started in Mount Sinai, passed from generation to generation. So I learned body language. So I see that the guy is already convinced after 15 minutes. But he continued, to stretch, no. So I know he's already convinced. What's the point of continuing the argument? So then I ask him, tell me, are you convinced? Yes or no? He said, absolutely not, he says. So I say, what do you mean? I did not convince you even 1%? He said, not only you didn't convince me, now I feel much better, he says to me. Much better. Why? Until now I thought maybe there's something I don't know. If that's what you have to tell me, that's it, I can relax now. Now I see he's lying. So I thought to myself, really, I don't really care what he says. Because we don't care what he says, we care what he feels. When he goes home, his conscience is going to kill him. He knows, I proved to them already. It doesn't matter what he says. This is all for the show now. But when he's going to be alone, the next time when he lights a cigarette on Shabbat, his hands will shake. Because he knows the truth. So what do I care? But for the argument's sake, for the audience, I wanted to prove to everybody that he's convinced. So Hashem gave me a great idea. Close the door, no more in and out. Yaakov, where is Yaakov? Whoever didn't come until now, it's 40 minutes late. Just not to come anymore. Thank you. So, Hashem gave me a great idea. What's the idea? I told him, okay, so you say that this book is really, I'm holding the Torah, for you it's nothing, like a toilet paper, nothing. He said, yeah, nothing for me. People hold it, I don't care who. So I told him, okay, in this book, there is about 100 curses, very bad curses. So let's say, I will say a few things, I want you to repeat to say Amen after me. I'm going to say a few things from this book. And you say Amen since you don't believe in this book anyway, and we finish the argument right here. So go ahead. So I say, in the name of the writer of this book, may the writer of this book will bring all the curses that he wrote in this book on your head. Say Amen. He looks at me, he says, what? You cursing me? I say, I'm cursing you? I didn't curse you. You say this book is nothing, no? Nothing. So I say, well, who cares? Somebody wrote it. So the writer of these books, you say it's nothing, it's just another person, no? So what can he do? May he bring all the curses he wrote in his book on your head. If it's not God, so what do you worry so much? Another person. Who cares? Say Amen. I'm not going to say Amen. What's this? I say, why? If a Muslim guy will come and tell me, hey, in the name of Muhammad and this Quran, may Muhammad bring all the things he wrote in the Quran on your head, I will say 1,000,000 times Amen. And I'll kiss it as much as you want. With all the curses. Why? I know it's baloney. It's full of mistakes. God never gave such a book. Same thing the New Testament. Watch my debate with the priest, It's full of baloney. Same thing, 80,000 religions and cults that started after Judaism. Same thing. All nonsense. Full of errors, contradiction, mistakes. We the Jews, lucky that the people who wrote all these fake books were complete fools. That's why we're lucky. If there will be smart people, they could fool a lot more people. But it takes 5 minutes to prove Christianity is nonsense. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. In 5 minutes you can show the Christian guy there's 10 human errors here. God could not make such foolish mistakes. End of argument. If he's honest, say I have nothing to answer. That's it. Same thing Quran. Ridiculous thing. We don't have time for this. Let's move on. So, the guy doesn't want to say amen. I say amen. He said, I want to say amen. He's getting angry now. All of a sudden, guess what happened?
Cry.
He started to cry, but crying, you know, like somebody that just got a phone call, chas v'shalom, that his mother died, God forbid. What's the reaction? He started to cry, tears. I got nervous. I got nervous. Such nervous crying. I don't know how to... Everybody was shocked. He's crying. So you got me. So I said, why are you wasting my time with all these ego things? From that moment on, I decided that's it. Whatever the person said, I don't care. I know the truth. He knows the truth. End of argument. Go home and decide what you want to do. You want to continue to live in a lie? Or you want to begin to practice the mission of your life, the purpose of your creation. You want to live in a lie or not? It's up to you. It's not my problem. I did what I did. By the way, you should know, one of the bonuses, the privilege of speaking to people, to trying to bring them back to God and make them religious, even though it's full of frustration, because you see sometimes when you speak to people and they go back to drive on Shabbat and to smoke and to do all the things that they do normally, it's frustrating, you know, because you really want your words to make an effect on them. But the truth is that if you are an egoistic person, for you, it's better that he won't keep. What does it mean? Every Jew is born with a share to the world to come. Also the non-Jews. Every Gentile has a share to the world to come if he keeps the 7 laws that God ordered him. 7 laws only. 6 of them are very easy to keep. 6, altogether 7 laws. God told Adam 6 laws. Noah, after the flood, when Noah came from the ark, God repeated the 6 and added 1 more law. There was no Judaism yet. There was 4,200 years ago. So he told Noah 7 laws. 6 of them were already told to Adam. So it was nothing new. Only 1 new, extra. From that moment on, 900 years, everybody in the world, including the Hebrews, which later will become Jews, had to keep those 7 laws. Finished. Once the Torah was given to the Jews 3,320 years ago, everything changed. From this moment on, as the Torah says in few different places, at least 10 different places, God says to the Jews, that's it. You are not just another nation, you are my children, I chose you from all the nation to be mine. Since there's no discrimination in the Torah, every Gentile has the full right to convert. It's not a picnic. We are not missionaries. Christians will die for you to become Christian. They'll give you anything you want. Just come tell them I'm considering. They'll pay your rent. The missionaries will visit you twice a day. Anything you want. They go all over the world. They spend billions of dollars every year. They make DVDs, not like mine, $1. Each DVD, $30 value, with the album about JC and in Life in Nazareth in Yiddish. One day I come home, I see Yiddish. I put it in. Was machst du? In Yiddish. What's going on? I say, wow. Even in Yiddish they make. They have unlimited money, as much as they want. No problem. Every cult putting all their efforts to steal souls to their side. Jews are the only nation, check in history, that don't care about all the others. Stay what you are. It's not my problem. I'm not going to run after you to convince you. It's against our religion. If you come, you want to become, I can help you, no problem. To run after you, the opposite. Why? Stay what you are, keep the 7 laws, you're 100% perfect. It's not my obligation. 6.4 billion Gentiles. I'm going to start run after each one of them. We have 13 millions to worry and we can't. How many Jews are religious in the world? from 13.2 million. Maximum 2 million all over the world. That's it. We have another 11 million to worry about. They are disappearing in a very, very fast way. Intermarriage, other problems, no kids, nobody has confidence in God. Jews used to have 13 kids, 16 kids. Today, how many they have? 1 or 2 and a dog. That's what's going on today. The Arabs have 8.4 kids. That's the statistic. 8.4 kids. Jews, less than 2 kids all over the world. Look in the American society. Every Jewish family has maximum 2 kids. Go in Manhattan, check the statistic. 3? Wow. You're a brave guy. And I'm not talking poor guys. I'm talking millionaires. Already more than 2, it's too much for them. That's why we're disappearing. The Jews started in the same generation like the Chinese people. Exactly 4,200 years ago, after the flood. There was only 8 people in the world. Everybody died. Hashem wasn't happy from the way they behave. So he killed tens of millions or hundreds of millions. We don't know the numbers exactly. But believe me, much bigger tragedy than 80 or all kinds of tragedies that we have, the tsunami, that's peanuts compared to the flood. Everybody dies except 8 people. The world started really officially 4,200 years ago. The people that you see today, this is after the flood. From these 8 people, it's the 3 sons of Noah. One of them was Sem. The Jews came from Sem, Shem, anti-Semite. Someone who hates Jews, his name is anti-Semite. Why? Because the Jews came from Sem. So he hates the Jews because they are the descendants of Shem. Ham and Yefet, Yefet in English is Jeff. Yefet means in Hebrew beauty. Went to the European areas. All Europe is the descendants of this person called Yefet. Later they came to America. Americans are descendants of Europeans, Irish, Dutch, English. So this is all descendants of Yefet. Ham is all the African areas and China and all these areas. One of his grandsons were the Sini. The Torah says, Vayoled et Sini. How do you say Chinese in Hebrew? Sini, Sin. Sin is China. Sini means Chinese. Chinese was in the same generation of Shem. Shem is his uncle. So we and the Chinese started in the same generation. They are 2 billion and we are 13 million. And they have restriction on birth. You're not allowed to have more than 1 Chinese in a family. If your wife, Chinese in China, gave birth, or not even Chinese, anyone who lives in China has an extra kid, they already have 1 kid and she became pregnant, either they have to make an abortion or they have to leave China. They cannot give birth to a second boy. That's the law in China.
Or you pay fine.
They pay fine?
Yeah,
that's something new now. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
My Chinese buddies, they told me that you got to move out. That's why they came to New York. I don't know. All right, okay, let's start the lecture. So, as I said, we have no incentive to run after anyone. This is what God gave us. We have to follow it. If we can bring the truth to the rest of the world, very nice. One of the most important things in the life of a person, and this is Jews and non-Jews, is his character, his traits. If the trait of the person, his midot, are corrupted, there is no chance whatsoever for him to be righteous in his lifetime. No way. Being righteous doesn't mean just to be a robot and follow the instructions of the Torah, such as keeping Shabbat, putting tefillin, eating kosher. That's a very important part of Judaism. Don't get me wrong. But the purpose of the entire Torah, is that the Torah will be able to purify your soul and make you a decent human being, which means honest. There's a reason why I say I don't want people to come in, because every time a person comes in, we lose a minute from the lecture. Everybody has to look. I don't know why, but if Obama comes in, I understand why you look. Everybody who comes in, everybody has to look. Fine. It was a joke. Anyway, so the traits of a person. Now we see that people are born with different traits. Some people from age 0, you see one kid is stingy, the other one is not. One kid is angry, the other one is very calm down, he's not screaming, you don't give him candy, he's not all over the supermarket screaming. The other one, you don't give him candy 1 minute. Everybody knows you in town the next day. You see, these two little babies, they have different characters. Also, they are attracted to different things. One baby, I have one kid, every time he sees a book, he comes, he kisses it, he sees me listening to a lecture, he comes to listen. The other one, all he wants to do is to play with the toys all the time. He's attracted to spirituality, the other one wants ball and other things. You see right away, this is two people that are being reincarnated in another lifetime now. Soul that God took from someone who died and put it in a new body. You see right away that they come to this world with spiritual traits. Those traits are continuation from the previous lifetime. Every person in this world is here not for the first time. You don't have no souls here. If you have a doubt about it, you can go to any parapsychologist that knows what he's doing. Make sure he knows how to get you out. If he hypnotizes you, make sure he knows how to get you back to normal life, because maybe they didn't go to the college that day and they teach. So make sure. Because when they hypnotize a person, you're going to know who you used to be in your previous life. You speak in different languages, you describe your lifetime in a different different decade. It can be 80 years ago, 200 years ago. Sometimes people speak in languages nobody knows anymore. They are so old, nobody recognizes the language. They have to bring it to all the experts in the world to recognize the language. It's a language from 1,000 years ago. Jews and non-Jews are being reincarnated. You may ask, why non-Jews has to be reincarnated? They also have a mission in life. They have 7 laws to keep. That's their test in life. They have heaven and hell. They have reincarnation. It's all the same, just in a smaller way. It's not so large. The punishments and the rewards of the Jews are much greater than the non-Jews. Jews are punished much more severely, and they are getting reward much more severely. To be a wicked Jew is worse than to be a righteous goy, which means a goy, a non-Jew that is righteous, since it's much easier than a Jew to become righteous, so for a non-Jew, if he's righteous the way he is, for him to convert to become a wicked Jew, it's the biggest mistake in life. That's why the Beis Din, the Jewish courts, are not so anxious to convert. Why? They say, well, you can be righteous 1, 2, 3 in a day or two. Why do you need all this headache? Don't gamble for the whole thing. You know, it's like in a casino. You already made $1,000. Now the dealer say, you're going to go for the whole thing? Yes, maybe you make it 2, maybe you make it 0. You already have 1,000 in your hand. Don't be greedy. It's exactly the way it is. What makes you think you're going to keep all the laws? Look at the Jews. How many of them keep the laws? 20%? What makes you think you'll be greater? Doesn't pay. Stay righteous the way you are. You have world to come. Everything is fine. So, since we and the Gentiles have the same concept, we have a mission, a test here, but our test is harder and the reward is much greater. But the traits applies to all of us. I'll give you an example what I mean. A lazy Jew is not good. A lazy goy, it's not good. If a goy wake up at 10 in the morning, look at the life that he has. He can't be successful in anything he does. Same thing a Jew. However, since Jews have a much harder mission in this world, everything that is negative by them, affecting them and affect the world much more tremendously. Even a thought of a Jew make a big impact on the spiritual worlds in a much higher level. The Torah says, you are my children, I chose you from all the nation to be mine. Do not follow the ways of the Gentiles. Do not imitate them. Don't get married to them. Don't eat their food. Don't give your children the names of their children. Don't dress like them. make sure you are isolated from all the nations, because you are my children. I am holy, and I'm making you holy. This is directly from the Torah. Arabs and Christians read from the same Torah. They call it the Old Testament. Same Torah, same translation, in Arabic, in Persian, in Chinese even. Same Torah. What do you think they read? Same thing we read. They read it. Say, God says to the Jews, I have hundreds of Christians. They say, bottom line, you are the chosen people. Whether we like you, whether we don't like you, whether we appreciate you, whether we're angry at you, doesn't matter. Many of them are honest to admit. The other ones don't like to admit. Doesn't matter. We can care less what they admit or not. We go by what the book says. If God wouldn't say it in a book, who am I to say it? In that case, I become Hitler. Because it's just racism. Racist. If you come and say this person is better than the other, without God's approval on it, you're just another racist. What makes you better than him? You have the same nose, same ears, same body, same beauty, same money, same bank account, everything the same. Since a divine book comes and say, I'm God, I chose you from all the nation to be mine, it changed the entire way. Now let's see some of the things that the Torah told the Jew. The Vilna Gaon 200 years ago and said, he said, Tikkun Midot, correcting your traits, Ze Kol Ha'adam. This is the entire purpose of life. That's why you have Torah. That's why God made you a nation. That's why He put your soul in a body here in the first place. What? If you're angry, get rid of it. If you're lazy, get rid of it. If you're stingy, get rid of it. Make yourself generous. Make yourself have patience. Treat every person equally, whether he's poor, whether he's rich, whether he's smart, whether he's foolish, whether he's a man, whether he's a woman. Doesn't matter. You have to respect every person. There are many ways to do. Control your desires, your women attractions, your desires. You're not an animal. An animal in a field, she moves her tail, he moves his tail. 2 minutes later, they have babies. You're not animals, God says. You have laws that applies to you. Control your desire for food. Some people live to eat. The Torah say, eat to live. Don't live to eat. He didn't come here to be another monkey eating all day. No, sitting in a safari all day, they throwing in whatever they throw, they eat. Throw peanuts, they eat. Throw bananas, they eat. Throw donuts, they eat. No, you're hungry, you eat. You're not hungry, we want snacks. In America, there's a word for that, snacks. We have to send the kids snacks to school. Why? How can they live without a bamba or pretzels? Come on. You understand? Now let's see some of the things the Torah says. Amaratana, this is from the oral Torah, Mishnah. Eveas kanamer, we say it in a prayer every morning. Vekal kanesher, veratz katzvi, vegibor ka'ari. 4 examples the Torah gives. Be strong like a tiger, like a leopard. They're not afraid of anything. People laugh at you that you become religious. What are you nervous? Why are you embarrassed? They should be embarrassed, not you. But they are the majority. Who cares? I have the truth. I'm lucky. They are foolish. Why should I get offended? I know I have the truth. Did you see the Muslim guy in the middle of Kennedy Airport, how he goes like this in front of 1 million people? He knows everybody hates him. He knows everybody thinks he's a terrorist. He knows it. They know it. Everybody knows it. The Arabs knows it. In America, at least, that's the situation. Or in some countries in Europe. Do they care about anybody? They want to pray to Allah, which is our God. They aim to the same God. They put the rug in the middle and they pray. No matter where it's going to be. Whether it's in a palace, whether it's in a beautiful Macy's in 5th Avenue, it doesn't matter where it is. In front of you, not in front of you. When we come to pray, go to the corner there. What happened? Scream like they do. No, we hide. Why you hide? We embarrass. We don't want to attract too much attention. So the Torah say, don't be afraid of anyone. What are you embarrassed of? Let them learn from you. That's the right way. Second, kal kanesher, light like an eagle. How can it be? Eagle is the heaviest bird. You think the Torah didn't know that eagle is the biggest bird? Every fool knows it. What does the Torah say? Light like an eagle. The answer is, when the Torah praise someone, the Torah praise this person or anything, or a bird even, according to the potential of that bird, according to the potential of that person. Which means, if your potential was to be in your brain Albert Einstein, and you're selling vegetables in a market, you're a big loser. If to begin with, your head, your IQ is very low, nobody is angry at you that you're not Albert Einstein or the Vilna Gaon, lehavdil, yeah? Why? Everybody understands you never had the potential. Same thing by the birds. A small bird that weighs nothing, the Torah doesn't use as an example. Of course they light. Look at their body. The eagle is the heaviest and fly the highest. From all the birds, even though it's very heavy, he fly the highest. That's why the Torah used the eagle as an example. Whether it's hard, it's not, no, it doesn't matter. You have to be always to the maximum potential. Then, ratz katzvi, like a deer. Be fast, like a deer, to do the mitzvot, to listen to God, to run, to help people, like a deer. Why deer? Ayala, I don't know how to say the difference in English between tzvi and ayala. Who knows? What's the difference between tzvi and ayala? They both come from the deer, but there's one that is lighter than the other and one and run faster. Yes. How do you say it? Antelope. Now I know why my little kids were watching today a film about the animals, and I heard this word at least 30 times. You know the animals movies that they have? What do you call it? Planet.
Animal Planet.
Yeah. I heard it 30 times today. Hashem was preparing me for this, but I wasn't paying attention. So, antelope, you say? Antelope? Like antelope. So the antelope, in Hebrew, it's called ayala. And tzvi, it's a deer. Why the Torah used tzvi? Ayala, it's much faster than tzvi, than the deer. It jumps faster, it runs, it moves. It confused the leopard. Why the Torah used tzvi? Every fool knows that the antelope runs faster than the deer. So why the Torah used different examples? Very simple. The tzvi, run, stop, pause, look back. Continue to run, look back. The antelope just run forever. Don't be a fool, run like a robot. No, check the situation. Stop, pause, time out. Let's think. Am I in the right direction? Maybe over here it's better. Maybe over here is better. This is what God wants from me? Maybe this way. Maybe I have to make a change now. Maybe the situation around me, the circumstances are always changing. I have to reevaluate my way. I went to this yeshiva to learn Torah. There used to be great rabbis. 6 months later, the rabbi, God forbid, one of them is sick. The other one had to move to a different town. Different rabbis came. It's not what it used to be. Just for the reputation of the school? No. Things changing.
But that's a weakness in the ayah when we stop.
To stop, to reevaluate your situation is very important. Now let's continue. And the last one, Gibor Ka'ari. Lion, the king of all the animals. Gibor. Don't be lazy like the lion. You see in the Bronx Zoo, that lion on the rock for 30 years? How many pictures people? Same lion, 30 years on the rock. All day like this, they bring him food. People take picture of him, that's it. Then the Torah says, one of the most dangerous things to the life of a person is laziness. The first law in Shulchan Aruch, believe it or not, and it shows you the importance of that the book of Jewish law, that have thousands of laws, the first law out of thousands, what is it? The cure for laziness. What is it? Itgaber ka'ari la'avodat habore. First thing, make sure when you get up in the morning, you get up strongly like a lion, like a tiger. Don't wake up 45 minutes, this, cigarettes, coffee, where is my clothes, an hour until he gets dressed. You can see he didn't go to the Israeli army. In the Israeli army, you take the laziest person, 3 days later, from the minute he hears somebody knocks on his door, in 7 minutes, not only that he's dressed, not only is after bathroom, he grabbed only something on the way to the, he's sitting already in the truck. The truck comes and takes you to where you have to go. 7 minutes, sometimes even shaving also. 7 minutes, tack, tack, like a robot. By the way, you should know when you get up from bed, if the alarm goes and people, let's say they have a fly, they jump quickly, it's not good, very dangerous. For the circulation of the blood to the brain, very dangerous. First, a person, no matter how late he is, first he has to open up his eyes, wait 10, 20 seconds. Don't jump. Then sit very slowly. Sit. Then you sit for about 10, 20 seconds on a bed. Don't jump right away. You say to God, thank you that you're able to wake up for another day. Modeh ani lefanecha. Then you get up, quickly wash your hands before you touch your eyes and everything. That's if you slept before midnight, Jewish midnight. Not like the Goyim is always 12 o'clock midnight. Jewish midnight change according to the seasons. Right now it's 12:10. In the summertime it gets up to 1 o'clock. In the winter time it can go as low as 11:20. Depends how long is the day and how long is the night. We take the days, the hours of the day, and we take the hours of the night. Every hour from the day and an hour from the night is like a male and female. Together they give 120 minutes. So if an hour in a summer during the day is 75 minutes, how much would be an hour in a night? Because the night is short, 45 minutes. 75 and 45, it gives 120. In the summer, in the winter, it changes. Now the hours in the day are very long, are very short, because the day is short in the winter, and the night is very long, so you take 75 and 45, and it gives 120. Now, you got up, you started your day, there are rules how you get dressed, how you put shoes on, how you tie your shoelaces, how you start your prayer, how do you eat later. Everything in Judaism is a way of life. It's not just worshipping some idol or something. The Torah, what's Torah means in Hebrew? Instructions. Orah. It's instructions about everything you have in life. Everything. The Torah speaks about relationship. Before we gave this lecture, we had an hour. We spoke about intimate relationship between man and a woman, only to the men, to explain things that you don't speak in open places. And the Torah speaks about it. Relationship between man and woman is holy. Not like the Christians hold that is something dirty. That's why the priests do not get married. It's against God's wish. First mitzvah in the Torah is to multiply and have children. Therefore, it cannot be that the person who represents God cannot get married and have children. That's the first commandment from 613, which means it's very important. Whenever a book starts, it starts with the most important thing. That's the rule. Shulchan Aruch, I just told you, the book of law. First thing, get up. Don't be lazy. Wait, 10 o'clock is still snoring. You cannot be successful. Tehillim, Psalms, King David. How Tehillim start? אשרי האיש אשר לא הלך בעצת רשעים ובדרך חטאים לא הלך ובמושב לצים לא ישב. 3 things. First thing, do not go in a place of wicked people. Don't move to live there. They will affect you tremendously. You won't be able to follow the truth. The environment around you makes you very weak. That's why a Jew has to live with Jews, with a synagogue, with yeshiva, with a place when kosher food. All the people around him are like him. It's much easier than he lives somewhere in Texas and he doesn't find one kosher Jew there in the entire area. It's very impossible. It's impossible to be kosher, to live isolated somewhere. No minyan, no kosher food, no shchita, no moel. Tomorrow you have a boy, you need to circumcise him, you don't know how. Big problems. במושב לצים לא ישב. Make sure your friends are not clowns. All they want to do is to joke. We want to have fun, like the kids say today. I want to have fun. What does it mean to have fun? Basketball, baseball, theaters, all kinds of dirty jokes, dirty movies, and all the rest of the dirty stuff. That's called today to have fun. First thing King David starts his book with, stay away from this kind of people. Why? Those are losers. They can have billions of dollars in their bank account. They can be very highly respected in politics. Can be the president of the United States, but he's a big loser. You know why? Because he goes without a shirt in front of millions of people. If you are the king of the world, you are the president of the biggest empire in the world, if you had a minimum of IQ and intelligence, you wouldn't let photographers come and take pictures of you when you walk on the beach with your bathing suit. It's no respect. Every normal religious goy would know the Pope will never come without his shirt for the people to take his pictures. You know, I represent God. That's the way he thinks. I'm going to let people take me with the shorts like this walking on the beach. Even to eat a burger, a president shouldn't let people take pictures of him. You'll never see a rabbi ever in a picture, in a television eating a burger or something in front of them. It's no respect. That's the minimum alphabet. Let's continue. The Torah says, Ki lo b'shamayim. When God gave the Torah to the Jews, He said the Torah is not in heaven. Not anymore. Lo b'shamayim velo me'ever layam. It's not in heaven to say how can we reach it. It's not across the ocean to say who's going to go and bring it all the way back. It's very close to you. In your hand, in your mouth, in your heart, to do and to follow it. Now I want to ask you a question. Is God honest or is a liar? What do you think?
Honest.
Everybody agree that God is not saying lies, He's not exaggerating, He's not tricking, He's not playing games with us, right? He's not a member in the Israeli Knesset. He promised before the elections that He's going to make new roads. It's not only in the Israeli Knesset, in every parliament. They're very generous before the election. Come the next day, they don't know who you are. Excuse me, what are you talking about? I told you? I don't remember who you are. Yesterday you remember very well who I am, because you needed my vote. That's life. Is God like that, or when He says something, it's 100% solid? Right, okay. Now, if God comes to you and say, I want you to jump from the Empire State Building. Jump, don't be afraid. Let's say you see God, you're a prophet, you became a prophet for 10 minutes. And He say, Moshe, jump, don't worry, trust me, jump. Think about this scenario. You are standing 100 flight up in the Empire State Building. You see everybody small downstairs. Wow, scary. Would you jump or no?
Sure. If Hashem telling you
Sure. That's what happened to Israel when they came out of Egypt.
Most of the people won't jump. Most people won't jump. It's called cognitive dissonance in psychology. What the brain catch in a second, sometimes take years for the heart to digest. When Albert Einstein came with all his discoveries, every scientist in the world examined his writings from A to Z and came with the same results. He shocked the world. The truth is, he shocked the world because all the scientists in the world are completely ignorant in Judaism. If they only knew Judaism, they wouldn't be so impressed by Einstein. Why? Everything he said, the Ramban wrote 750 years ago. Read in the Ramban. Everything. TorahAnyTime, time, objects, how time is measured. Everything he said is from the Ramban. Nobody gives credit to the Ramban because nobody teach in Harvard about the Ramban. Because he asked the professor in Harvard, who's the Ramban? Who? He never heard about him. Read in the Rambam, one of the biggest Kabbalists we ever had, 750 years ago. But besides the point, what the brain and the heart catch, it's not the same speed. The brain understands right away. To digest it and move it into action may take years. 7 years! Even though all of them came with the same results, in the end they say impossible. Impossible, cannot be. Throw it to the garbage. For 7 years. Till one of them say, how long we'll deny it? How long? We have nothing against it. Can't contradict it. And they adopted it. You see, it took them 7 years to admit, for different reasons. When God says to us, this Torah and the laws that I gave you is a piece of cake. It's not complicated. It's not hard. It's right in your hand. It's right in your heart. It's right in your mouth. You don't need a messenger to run and get it and to hope. Nothing. It's in your hand. Open the book and you begin to do. In reality, we all know it's not like that. It's very difficult to become religious. It takes years to clean yourself from all the dirt that was stuffed into your head in high school, in elementary school. Just to convince you that you didn't come from the monkey may take 10 years. Some more, some less, depend. But that's the point. How many years it takes for the people to clean all the garbage that they learn in colleges and adjust their head to the Torah? It takes sometimes 20, 30 years. If God says that is easy, it must be easy. If it's not easy, I am the problem. He knows better than me what's the truth. If I cannot connect, that means I'm very filthy. Because if I was kosher, I would connect 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you see souls, as soon as they hear 1 hour Torah, you don't need ever to speak to them again. They become independent. I know I was lucky to meet few guys like this. 1 hour, finished. From that moment on, they got this book. This is one of the most legendary books in history. It was written 250 years ago by one of the top big Kabbalists ever lived. Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto in Italy, in Padova. The Ramchal. He wrote more than 100 books. Most of them we don't even know about them because it's very deep Kabbalah. And this is the legendary book. It's called Mesilat Yesharim, Path to the Just. Today they have it in English. Not that you're going to understand it in English. It's not so simple, but this is it. And he wrote this book. And this book is a combination of all the truth of Judaism, ethics. What's the right ethics? What's the real mission of life? How God review every individual. What's considered to be a loser? What's considered to be a winner? For some of us, when we read it, we get shocked. I once gave this book to one guy from the kibbutz, Israeli guy. I didn't have time. I spoke to him 7 minutes. I saw his eyes are coming out. I saw right away a very special soul. I gave him this book. In Israel, they give it for very cheap because they want people to open their head a little bit. I had a bunch of them in my trunk. I took one. I say, Amos, take it. He took it. Today is a big rabbi. You need more than that. Once he read that, his life was never the same. He said in front of all his friends, I'm embarrassed that this is the way I lived, and I'm embarrassed that all of you, I thought you are my friends. Today I understand what friends are. I lived in a complete lie all my life. But how many people in 1 hour change like this? You can count on one hand how many. Most people are not connecting so easy. It's very hard. Let's see some of the things the Torah says and we understand where we're standing right now. First, if we cannot connect, the problem is by us. I'll give you an example. One of the reasons why people take religion in a very hard way and they are not interested to change, one of the main reasons are that a person does not evaluate the Torah in a right way. Does not evaluate it. And I explain what I mean. A person that likes football, he didn't come tonight to the lecture. For any amount of money he wouldn't come. Why? Football is his life. Tonight is the Super Bowl. Only a crazy rabbi decides to make a lecture in a Super Bowl. But I found myself every year that I have a lecture in a Super Bowl night. I don't know how. Mishamayim. Tonight, people who love football don't leave it for any amount of money. People who likes clothing, that's all they talk about. Gucci and Armani and this bag and this suit and these shoes and this, that's their life. People who like jewelry, that's all they think about. People who like materialism, they like materialistic lifestyle, they are addicted to it. Take it away from them, they'll commit suicide. They can live a minute without it. Take their Mercedes away, take their beautiful house with a pool away from them. A minute later, kill me, better. And that's why some people, when they're about to lose all their money, they gamble on their life. Why there are so many people in jail in the United States? They knew that what they do, if they get caught, they'll go to 20 years in federal prison. They knew it. Drug dealers, frauds, stock market fraud, IRS fraud. All these people knew that once you get caught, and there's a pretty high chance to get caught over the years. They know it. I can't live without it. I rather die than not have it. Complete wrong direction in life. If a person evaluates the book of God, God gave me a book, what could be more precious than this? He would not leave it for 1 second. It should be an addiction. I know a few people like this. When they eat, they cannot close the book. Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul, one of the greatest rabbis we had, he passed away 10 years ago. My cousin asked him a question, Rabbi, what's the hardest mitzvah to keep? What would you think he say? Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You should love your brother, your nation like you love yourself. Who can love another Jew like he loves himself? No, let's be serious. I love him, but I love myself better. You know what it means to love? The Torah says you have to love everyone like you love yourself. You know what it means? It means that if you come to your neighborhood and you hear a gunshot, and people tell you it's in this building, and you know you live in this building, and they tell you it's in the 3rd floor, and you know you live in the 3rd floor, and there are 2 apartments there, you and your neighbor, and they tell you a kid got shot and died. Now it's either Chas v'Shalom your son or the neighbor's son, and you run like crazy. Your pulse is 150 a minute. Your blood pressure, you're sweating, you go crazy, you're looking for your wife. And then somebody tell you, Moshe, relax, it's not your son. It's the neighbor's son. What happened to most people with their yarmulke and beard? What happened to them? Ah, thank you, God, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Why? According to the Torah, you should scream like it's your son. If you love your neighbor like you love yourself, like the Torah says, it doesn't matter who died, your son or his son. Same thing, same feeling. You know any person that can fulfill this mitzvah? In my opinion, it's the hardest mitzvah in the Torah. The hardest. I doubted if it was ever possible to keep this mitzvah, but who am I to say against the book anything? So, Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul didn't answer this, like I'm thinking. They ask him, what is the hardest mitzvah to keep? He says, the Torah said, what a person is in a dirty place, with bad smell, like bathroom or other places, is not allowed to learn Torah inside, and is not allowed to think about the Torah in a filthy place, in front of naked ladies, in a place that there's bathroom all over and with bad smell, or any other bad smell that it's not pleasant to smell. A person is not allowed to learn Torah in that place. So he says, I don't understand how is it possible when a person is in a bathroom not to think about the Torah. I can never keep this mitzvah, he says. We hear what we're talking here about? We have the Torah 24 hours a day. If we're lucky, we think about it 2 hours a day. Ooh, wow, what a tzaddik. He learns Torah 2 hours a day. Psh, he's a devoted guy. He couldn't stop for 1 minute a day not thinking about the Torah. When he walked in the street, his eyes were going all over. He wasn't here. One time his shul was 1 block away from the house. 1 block away. You come from the synagogue out, you walk 20 steps, your house is there, your apartment. They found him 2 hours away in a neighborhood where cars are in Jerusalem. Rabbi, what are you doing here? Where am I? Why? He's here, but he's not really here. The soul is in a higher level. Very high level. Read his books, you understand what I'm talking about. These people, not only they were genius and they knew all the Torah by heart, thousands of books by heart, they lived in the most humble way. Everything they preached, they kept. They spoke about honesty and integrity. They were clean, cleaner than you can imagine. They spoke about laziness. You never find them lazy. They've never been late to the prayer in the morning. Mamash, these people, you sometimes wonder if they even have an evil inclination. You speak about him, his rabbi was a Syrian Jew. His name was Rabbi Ezra Atiyah. All the Sephardic important rabbis in the world today are his students. Think about it. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, the biggest Sephardic rabbi in the world, is his student. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, until 10 years ago, the biggest Sephardic rabbis in the world, is a student. All the other chief Sephardic rabbis in Panama, in Brazil, all over the world are his students. And one time they found him in the middle of Shabbat, where in Silwan village, an Arab village, 2 hours walking away from his neighborhood, in the middle of an Arab village. One Arab recognized him. Rabbi, what are you doing here on Shabbat? in Arab village, it's dangerous to go there. He walks in the middle of Shabbat. Where am I? You understand, holy people, how they're not here bichlal? Not only that he was in an Arab village, he was walking, and you know the rain that falls from the gutters, they make the gutters a little bit further from the house, that it falls in the street, was going on his head, and he wasn't even feeling. He wasn't here. This is just to give you an example. This was 50 years ago. That's it. 1 generation ago. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul was 10 years ago. Chazon Ish was 40 years ago. This is people that could be our grandparents. Not talking 2,000 years like the times of the Gemara. Here. Not that far ago. There are a few more people like this in the world, by the way. We didn't lose all of them yet. David HaMelech, King David wrote, Chashti velo itma'amati lishmor mitzvotecha. When it comes to your Torah, God, I'm not lazy. I'm the first one to be there. Just name what you want me to do, and I'm there. The Torah says God comes to Abraham and tests him. ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, והאלוקים ניסה את אברהם. What does it mean, ניסה? Tested him. Gives him a test. Take your only son. After 99 years, finally he had a son. Read in the Torah. What happened? God says, come, take your son and slaughter him. Take him to the Moriah mountain. That's where the western wall is. That's where the temple was. Take him over there to that mountain and slaughter him. Bring him a sacrifice to me. After he told him, I don't like people who worship their kids to their idols. Tell the Goyim, the Gentiles, not to take their babies and throw them into the fire. I'm not interested in that. He told him, you're going to have a son. This son will inherit you. Don't worry about Ishmael, your son from the Arab woman. He's not going to inherit you. Your son, Yitzchak, will going to inherit you. After all these promises, comes God and tells him the opposite. Abraham should have said, God, I'm sorry. Didn't you tell me that I'm going to have a son? Yes. Didn't you tell me that he's going to inherit me? Now you're telling me to kill him? Didn't you tell me you're not interested to kill babies? What happened to all these things you told me? Not a peep. He takes him and on the way to slaughter him, comes the angel and say, you passed the test, don't touch him. Why do I tell you this story? For one verse in the Torah. What does the Torah says right after? Vayashkem Avraham baboker. God told him tomorrow. He didn't tell him when tomorrow. You're going to kill your son for me. I want to see if you're righteous and you're listening to me or not. He didn't tell him when. The day is very long. Take him at 6 in the evening. Make a party, invite all the uncles, the cousins, the neighbors. Make a party. Why you take him at 5 in the morning? Vayashkem Avraham baboker. First thing in the morning he runs to do the mitzvah. You understand? Then the Torah says that how God pays rewards to people in this life according to the efforts, not according to the achievement. This is a very common mistake that people have. People think, God wanted me to learn Torah. I'm 70 years old. I didn't even finish 5% of the Torah. I achieved nothing. Look, my friend learns the same years with me. He finished 90%. Oh, Probably his reward is 10 times better than me. He achieved 90%, I only achieved 5%. Wrong. It's very possible your reward is greater than him. Depend on your ability, depend on your potential. If your potential is lower, you achieve a lot more in comparison to him. From your potential. Maybe your potential was maximum 15 and you reach 5. 33% of your potential you have. His potential was much higher and he achieved less than that. It's not going by your achievement, it's going by your efforts. How much you sweat for it, how expensive it was for you. A rich guy and a poor guy that gives donation. It's not the same. The billionaire gave $1,000 and a guy who worked all month for $1,000, they both gave $1,000 for a poor family. Can you compare the same $1,000? Are you crazy? Of course not. The billionaire, it's a blink of the eye. Before he realized his stocks made him more than $1,000. Big deal. This guy, all day works, picking up things to make $1,000. He gave a month from his life. He gets rewarded for a month of his life. The poor guy for a second of his life. That's the reward. Now listen to this very good. One shadchan, a matchmaker, spoke to a father of the girl and offered him a shidduch, a boy for his daughter. He said, this boy is great, he's learning, he's righteous, he's in this yeshiva. Please go over there, tell them, the yeshiva that I sent you, they know me there, and I want you to take the guy, interview him, speak to him to see if he's good for your daughter. Guess what? This is a very big yeshiva. They have the same Israeli guy with the same name. It's very common that in the yeshiva you have the same name. He went there. Oh, yeah, very good guy. So they call him and say, you have a potential shidduch. You know, so he speaks to him. He likes the guy likes him. They went on a few dates. They like each other. Later, they got married. The shadchan, the matchmaker, comes to the wedding. What happened right after the wedding? He comes to get his check for the matchmaking. He comes to the chuppah. That's not the guy I sent him to. What's going on here? True story. It happened in Israel. Less than 10 years ago. The shadchan said, wow, what am I going to say now? I didn't make this shidduch. Right away, he goes to Rav Zilberstein, the rabbi of Rabban Elchanan. Rabbi, what should I do? Should I ask for shidduch? Check, or should I not? Guess what the answer is? Did he make the shidduch or not?
Yes, he did.
Wrong. He told him, you cannot claim for any reward. You didn't offer this guy. Yeah, you told him to go to that place. Big deal. Next thing, you find somebody across the street. You also want reward for that? The guy that you offer, it never materialized. Finished. But he said something else. That's why I bring it here. What's the connection to laziness? This is what he says. In this world, you're getting paid by your achievement. You finish the job, you're a mechanic. Somebody brought you the car. You worked 10 hours, you didn't fix the engine. Can the mechanic charge you? He lost 10 hours of his time. He may lost liquids. It cost him maybe $50 from his pocket. You didn't fix the transmission. You didn't fix the electrical problem. Goodbye. Why do I need you? But I worked 3 days. You're a fool. It's not my problem. Goodbye. So far legal. That's the way it is. Over there, it doesn't go by your achievement. It goes by your heart, by your efforts. Rahmana li babai. You spilled all your energy and your blood to understand, and you didn't understand. No problem. Your mission is not to know all the Torah. Not even 1% of it. No. Your mission is to listen to God. God said to learn every day Torah. I did. Seriously, I did. Even on expense of making money. I could have made money somewhere else. I did. Everything you told me, I did. I didn't understand. What can I do? Gemara say Rabbi Freda was teaching his student 400 times the same page every day for months. Comes in the morning, 400 times repeats the same page. One time, he had a very important business meeting in the late afternoon that day. He knows by then the guy doesn't understand. So he came in the morning and he said, listen, today I'm begging you, be extra focused because I have to leave around 2, 3. I have a very important business meeting. Try to understand today after 300 times. Please. The students say, yes, Rabbi, no problem. 2 o'clock, he said, so far everything okay? We have 1 more hour to go. I said, Rabbi, what can I tell you? Today I don't understand anything. Usually by now I understand 80%. I don't understand anything today. The Rabbi said, what? At least be like every day. Why today you worse? So from the minute you told me at 7 in the morning, today be extra focused, I'm so nervous, I can't focus at all. Now what do you think any normal rabbi today would do in a case like this? Okay, my friend, I'm very sorry. Please understand me. You know, I have to bring food to my children. You know, I have to make a living. I have a very important business meeting today. Tomorrow we'll go over the page again. What can we do? We lost the day, no? He said, forget about that meeting. Let's start from the beginning. He sat with him until the night, until he understood the page. The Gemara says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu announced in heaven that this Rabbi Preda, that was 2,000 years ago, deserved that him and his entire generation will go express to heaven thanks to his merit. That's the announcement for Rabbi Preda. Understand what's going on here? This is something out of the ordinary. You need more proofs than that? I give you another example. In the time when there was a war, the Mir Yeshiva, you know, they escaped to China. After the Holocaust, I think 300 of the guys accepted visa to China and they were able to escape. Today you have Mir Yeshiva in Ocean Parkway here in Brooklyn, and you have one in Jerusalem with 5,000 students. And over here I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 also. It's very blessed yeshiva. Who knows, they're in business more than 100 years by now. But in those days there were a lot of wars, big wars. The bombs were falling right next to the yeshiva. Rav Iser Zalman Meltzer was the Rosh Yeshiva. He saw that the bombs are falling in the neighborhood of the yeshiva. Psh, boom, pa. He learned. He felt nervous, you know. I have guys, high school, all guys from 9 to 12th grade. They're alone here. People come from far away. There was no airplanes yet. You know, it was all by trains. So I'm responsible for all these kids. Chas v'shalom, if a bomb will fall, how am I going to go to their parents and tell them they died in my yeshiva? So he told everyone, please go home. Come back when the war is finished. Close everything. Go learn home. Stay home with your parents. I can't take this responsibility. So all of them went home. All of them went home. One of them, his name is Eliezer, a young guy. He comes to his mother. The mother says, what are you doing here? How did you come here? Came with the train. What? In the middle of the week? You're not supposed to come another 3 months for a visit. So no, it's because of the war. The bombs are falling there. So the rabbi said to go back home. So she told him, what kind of rabbi is this? Doesn't he know that when a person learns Torah, is the most protected person on earth? Why do you think the Chinese put the missiles around the yeshiva? Even they know it. They put it right there by the yeshiva. That's how it was. Around the yeshiva, all the missiles against airplanes. What is this? So he says, what do you want me to do? Go back right to the yeshiva. I don't have money for the train. The money that I had to come back, I used it. You have money for the train? People were very poor. It was different worlds, not like today. Everyone, it's different world. Very modest life. That's why so many giants we had, spiritual giants. Today, how many you have compared to then? The more materialistic the person is far from God. The more simple his life is, he feels direct connection, even if he's a non-Jew. Go to all this Tibet, all these people that hardly eat, they sleep very little, they live very simple lifestyle, and feel how spiritual they are. That's one of the first rules in the foundation of becoming a righteous and a Talmid Chacham. What is it? To live very simple life, not to run after pleasures, not to run after extra food. It has to be well done, not enough salt, take it back, replace the steak, forget it. Nothing will come out of you. No, I want only designer name. I'm not wearing the same suit more than once. You know all this nonsense. I want my diamond 4 carats. I want my wig $5,000. No. This is religion. It's an embarrassment, not religion. But in the old days, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. So, she said, I don't have money for the train, but it's your problem that you decided to come back. Go back. So how am I going to go back? It's more than 100 miles. He said, walk. Took a big, huge bag, kids. Took everything on his bag and started to walk. 2 weeks he was walking in the middle of a war. 2 weeks, bombs. He gets to the yeshiva. The Rosh Yeshiva stayed there alone. Everyone went home. He comes in. He looks at him. What? You left a month ago. What are you doing here? He said, I walked all the way from home to here. So he told him, what? You walked? Why you walked? He said, I didn't have money for the train. My mother said, what kind of decision is that you send me home? Don't you know that when we learn Torah, we are protected? So the rabbi started to cry when he saw it. So he asked him, can you do me a favor? Can I buy these shoes from you? I want to keep it as a souvenir for what you just did, walking 2 weeks to come back to the yeshiva. Can I buy them? He gave him enough money to live for the whole year, for these ripped shoes. They were completely ripped. These shoes, not the phone, the shoes, are in the wall unit of Rabbi Kotler in Lakewood, New Jersey. If ever you go to Lakewood, go to Rabbi Kotler, knock on the door, I want to see these shoes. Where are these shoes? Next to the silverware, in the wall unit, in a guest room, next to the Shabbos table. You have silver, all these beautiful silver gifts. Right there, those 2 shoes are in. How do we know the story? Rav Steinman, one of the greatest rabbis in the world today, went to Lakewood to visit Rav Kotler. His grandfather was Rav Aaron Kotler, the giant that started Lakewood Yeshiva, 3,000 students. And he got there and he saw in the middle of Shabbos meal, he see the shoes inside. He asked him, well, what is these shoes doing there? He said, I inherit these shoes from my grandfather. Rav Iser Zalman Meltzer, he bought it from one boy. He walked 2 weeks to learn Torah. Like a tiger. Do you want to know, he says, who is this kid? He asked him, who was the kid? No. Which rabbi was the #1 in the world until 10 years ago? He passed away 110 years old. Rav Shach, the head of the religious world, all over the world. What do you think? You just become the chief out of nowhere? What? For your money? For what? For your Harvard degree? It counts nothing in heaven. God is not impressed. You being a great surgeon? It's nothing. You're a great antique dealer? It's nothing. You're a great driver? It's nothing. You're a great NBA thing? What? Name it. It's all nonsense. Baloney.
The effort.
Nonsense. What impress God? How much knowledge in Torah you achieve with efforts? For it's without efforts also it's not impressing. And how did you correct your negativity? You were lazy? Not anymore. You were very proud with huge ego? You became very humble. Corrected it. You used to be very stingy? You're very generous now. You used to be egoistic? You don't care about anybody? Now you're very generous. You help. Somebody is crying, it kills you. Somebody with cancer called you 3 nights, you don't sleep. Their problem is your problem. You call, you make phone calls. In Muncie, you have a lot of people like this. You just make a beep about a problem. Less than an hour later, you have 300 people trying to help you solve the problem. You didn't ask them. One woman gave birth. They know that she has 5 kids in the house. For 1 month, she won't have to be in her kitchen. The food will be delivered by all the neighbors and the friends from the community. Everywhere. Everywhere. This is how it's been done. It's in Borough Park. In every religious neighborhood in the world, this is the way it is. You don't find it anywhere else in the world. Who cares about you? You give birth. Send you a cake, maybe, if you're lucky. Yeah, there's a list. One woman start making phone calls. When you going to cook? Monday and Thursday, dinner and breakfast. Okay. What are you going to go up? She puts in less than an hour. You are set for the whole month. Your kids needs to be places for Shabbat? No problem. Your husband has to go with you to give birth in a hospital. The kids in less than a minute. You knock by the neighbor. You have 10 kids. Don't worry. You can sleep well. Give birth. Don't worry about your kids. They're enjoying now. You don't have it anywhere else. That's the power of the Torah. You come home, your children standing. They kiss your hand. Your son never sit in your chair. You say something, your son never tell you you're wrong, even if you're wrong. You understand? This is the way of the Torah. Your wife will never speak to other men. She's not gonna kiss everyone who comes to the house. How you doing? 300 men just kiss the woman. What's going on here? Even by the Arabs you don't find this filthy behaving. Even the Arabs, that some of them was going to blow kids in buses, they won't allow their wife, Fatma, to kiss everyone who comes through the door. It doesn't happen by the Arabs. Ahmed won't bring his girlfriend to his father to be with her in a room. Did you ever see an Ahmed bringing Fatma into the room when the father is in the house? Show me one Ahmed like this in the whole world. Show me one! Even though this Ahmed killing kids every day and doesn't regret it, but he won't bring her into the house. Why? He respects the religion, respect his parents. It's interesting. We, the nation of God, sometimes became worse than them. You ask an Israeli guy from the university, what makes you better than Ahmed? He's going to say, Ahmed is a terrorist. I'm a civilized human being. I'm educated. He doesn't even know how to read and write. I am fashionable and he is very primitive. I have degrees and he doesn't have degrees. I read so many books. I know about art. I can tell you every painting, Picasso, this. I know classical music. Bottom line, in the eyes of God, Ahmad is better than him, than this Israeli guy from the university. You may say, how can it be? He's a Jew. No discrimination. Yes, Ahmad is a murderer. Didn't you read in the Torah that a Jew that doesn't observe the Sabbath is much worse than a murderer? The Torah says. I didn't make the Torah. Why? Ahmed is a murderer. Yes. That particular Ahmed, not every Ahmed. Some Ahmeds are very righteous. They keep the 7 laws, they're against murder, and they go to heaven when they die. And many Israelis and American Jews can dream about heaven. They'll never get there. Why? They don't keep Shabbat. There's no chance to enter there. No chance whatsoever. And that's why many Jews don't know. The Sabbath is a covenant between me and the nation of Israel. It's an eternal covenant. In the text, 12 times. Either you believe in the book of God or it's nothing. If it's nothing, go and be a murderer. What's the point? There's no God, there's no punishment. Kill your enemies. Kill your ex-wife, kill this, kill that, kill anyone you don't like. What's the problem? There's no justice. What's the problem? If the Torah is real, everything is real. If it's not real, everything is allowed. Hitler is righteous, and Ahmadinejad is righteous, and the Pakistanis that wants to blow out, I don't know, everybody is right. Who's going to say no? The only one who can tell the truth, yes or no, is God. Everything else is nonsense. Your opinion, his opinion, this politician, that politician. What does the Torah say? The Torah says Israel belongs to the Jews. Every political arrangement or settlement is against God. He said the Torah is Israel is the nation is the country of my nation. Even in the Quran it says it, by the way. For whatever reason they don't read it. I can show it to you. I can show you the source. I gave Israel in the Quran. It says to the Jews. But obviously they don't care. Then the Torah says, Why a person doesn't appreciate the Torah? I'll give you a story, you'll understand why. Let's say if I take a guy and I say, hey Moshe, do me a favor, take this bag, it's a very hot day, climb all the way to the mountain in the desert, in 110 degrees, also humid, and it's a very heavy bag full of diamonds. I want you to do me a favor. My friend Isaac is all the way in the mountain. When you get there in the afternoon, give him the bag and tell them that I sent it. And I will really be greatly appreciative of your efforts and the favor that you did to me. No? So this is a very nice guy, this Moshe. No problem, Rabbi, no problem. He takes the bag, he begins to walk. 10 minutes later, his back is broken already. He's sweating. His clothes are stuck to his sweat. He looks at the mountain. He says, what? I'm going to die. By the time I get there, I'll die. What am I doing? He begins to scream, to curse, to cry. Guess, just imagine if his wife will call him now. Moshe, how are you? Oh, if it's you again. You always have the worst timing. I don't know, I'll kill you, leave me alone, I can't hear this. What happened? Oh, I cook lunch for you, forget about your lunch now. What? He wants to die. Continue to walk, 5 more minutes, he sits on a rock. In all this time, I'm watching him carefully. I see what he does and I'm smiling. Then after 15 minutes, I give him a call. Hello? Moshe, I watch him. Yes, it's you again. Okay, what? I forgot to tell you one thing. By the time you get to the mountain, my friend Isaac is anxiously waiting. He's going to take only 1 diamond out of this big bag. And all the diamonds are your reward for the favors you are doing to me. And I hang up. Guess what happened to this Moshe from that second on? Let's now, up to now, this is the way he walked. What am I doing? His wife called, he go crazy, he kicks the rocks. Then all of a sudden, after that phone call, he got up. His wife calling, Moshe, what about the lunch? Keep it! Don't worry! All of a sudden, there's a new Moshe. I want to ask you a question. That's the story. What do we learn from this? The weight of the bag is the same weight. The 110 degrees, maybe now it's 112 degrees. Nothing changed. The body of Moshe is the same body. The efforts is the same efforts. The wife is the same wife. Everything is the same. What changed? What changed? That all of a sudden he became a tiger, this guy. Psychologically, the switch, there's a switch in his head that turned from off to on. Until now, I'm wasting my life. Look what I'm doing. Working, grinding water. Working for nothing. Once I realize all these diamonds are coming to my account, who cares about the sweat? Who cares about the weight? Who cares about the heat? Nobody cares. This is the secret of life. The Torah says, if you only knew the reward you are going to receive for every one of these commandments for eternity, you would even waste a minute in your life to complain about it? Never in a history. The prophet says, Hogatem oti bedivrechem. God says to the Jews, I'm sick and tired from your complaints. This is what the prophet says. Read, it's in the Bible. Everybody believes 24 books of the Bible. Hogatem oti bedivrechem. I cannot stand your complaints anymore. Why? If the complaints are legitimate, what's the problem? God, it's hard for me. You gave me a very hard mission. Why are you so upset that it's hard for me? I'm doing it, no? Don't I do it? But the Torah never said that God is punishing us for not listening to Him. No. The Torah say, תחת אשר לא עבדת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב. All your suffering in life come for one reason, that you did not follow the instructions of your God with happiness and great feelings. Not that you didn't do. Yes, you did. Today, we can't even say we do. We're talking 2,000 years ago, 3,000, when everybody was religious. Until 200 years ago, it was impossible to find a non-religious Jews. The secular Israelis, they don't know history. If they check the history, they will be amazed. In 200 years, how 80% became not religious. Everyone was religious 7 generations ago. Where would you find a Jew without a beard and a yarmulke? Check in all the black and white pictures. In Bukhara, in Iran, in Syria, in Yemen. In Yemen, until this moment, there was never one not religious Yemenite in the history of Yemen, 2,600 years straight. Not one Mechalel Shabbat. Why? They were not exposed to television. They were not exposed to Mozart and football and NBA and soccer and Game Boys. Nah, they didn't see all this garbage. They had one thing in their life. Everyday's life, food, sleep, raising children, and only the Torah, connection to God. Nothing else. Look at the Yemenite food. Go to the Yemenites, Israelis today. Today already 3 generations. They're not poor anymore like they used to be. In Israel, some of them are millionaires. What do they eat? Everything dough. Jachnun, 100% dough with oil. Melawach, 100% dough with oil. Fatut, 100% dough. Everything dough. Why? There's nothing else to eat. For 2,600 years. That's why they were all righteous. When you eat caviar, when you eat sushi for breakfast and lunch, you're never going to be a holy, righteous rabbi. Only in your dreams. In your dreams, you're going to be a holy man. Rabbi, I just had a dream that I'm a chief rabbi. Good, it's in the dream. Stay like that. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, you know what he was eating? 1 slice of bread, dip it in a black coffee that was already there standing for hours. It's cold as ice already. And once in a while, tomato. Once in a while. No meat, no cheese, pizza, peanuts, this, cream cake. I can't live without it. We need dessert. In England, well, let's go to our tea afternoon, how do they call it? The 4 o'clock in England. You have to stop everything, 4 o'clock, tea and coffee. Whatever. Okay, before time is up, 1 or 2 more things I'll push into this evening. The Torah says, Lefum tzara agra. According to the sorrow and the efforts, that's how the reward is going to be. Im bechukotai telechu, parashat bechukotai, the Torah starts, if you're going to follow my laws, I'm going to give, there's a list of blessings and great things that the Torah promised to the Jews if they follow the words of God. Cherev lo ta'avor ba'artzechem, no wars, peace in the country, the enemies won't bother you, you sit safely in the land, your women will never be barren. Look at the list. Open the Torah, Parashat Bechukotai, in English, in Hebrew, it's the same thing. And what's the other half of the chapter, Bechukotai? If you're not going to listen to me, what a list. The enemies won't bother, enemies from inside of you will take the land away, everything that happens to us today. You won't sleep safely, women will be barren, problems will be, you lose your this, you lose your that, everything. Read over there, don't listen to me, just open and read. But guess what? When you go to the oral Torah, what does it mean, im bechukotai telechu? The Torah already said that we have to listen to the mitzvot. The Torah said we have to listen to God. The Torah said we have to follow His way. It was said many times already. Why over here all of a sudden, im bechukotai telechu? The secret, shetiyu amelim b'Torah. That you put all your efforts in learning of my Torah. Learning Torah, it's not a degree in college. In college, if you learn 5 years history, you know X amount. You learn 10 years, you know double. Torah, it's not like that. Torah, it's based on how you learn. You put your life in it or not. If you put all your efforts, all of a sudden in 1 year you can achieve so much, you can't believe, how do I know all this in 1 year of learning? How do I know all this? How do you know? Everything is a gift to begin with. It's all divine knowledge. What do you expect to know it by hours or how many hours you're going to learn? No. You just show God how much I want to achieve your knowledge, your divine knowledge. The more you prove yourself, the more gifts you get over the years. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever think, what am I doing? I'm 10 years learning and I'm not doing so many pages. Don't worry. By the end of your life, you'll see that you know a lot better than your friend that is in a rush. Because you learn with all your hearts and with all the attention. שתהיו עמלים בתורה. The Gemara says in Masechet Brachot, the Gemara say, what's the main reward is for? That's the question of the oral Torah. עיקר השכר בלימוד התורה, Rava, Amar Rava, one of the greatest Amoraim 2,000 years ago, Svara, Rashi, 950 years in France, or the main commentator on the Torah, Rashi, everything goes by Rashi, you can't move an inch without him. שהוא יגע וטורח ומחשב לדעת הסוגיה. That he is very tired to understand it, he is very disturbed to understand it, and he puts all his brain to understand it. He never said if he achieved the knowledge or not. That's irrelevant already. Your friend understood, you didn't, you get the same reward, you can get better than him. Why? This is the test of life. Therefore, if you're born with an amazing memory, photographic memory, and you know all the Torah by heart, you're nothing better than a Jew who just started alphabet today. Why? How much you sweat for it. One baby was born in Israel, age 3. He said all the books by heart. He's still alive, in his 50s today. Still alive in Israel. They took him to the Admor Migur, to the old Rebbe of Gur. He put him 45 minutes in a room. By the time he came out of the room, he forgot everything. Nobody knows what he did. He was a Kabbalist. He knew all the books. 3 years old. He knows pages on the Gemara. Like a machine. Little babies. Other kids don't know alphabet. Why? The angel didn't make him forget. The Torah said the 9 months the baby is in his mother's womb, the angel teach him the entire Torah, everything. Just when he comes out, he hit him here, and he makes him forget. This is all spiritual things. We don't have an understanding what it means. He makes him forget. All of a sudden, a baby is born, everything he knows. I know why they did it, to make him forget. There's reasons for that. In the beginning, for years, it was hard for me how they missed such an opportunity. First thing I thought, just put this baby on television. Let the whole world know, see what's going on here. The whole world will be shocked. Sometimes there are things above the first understanding. It's much, much deeper than that. Whatever it is, the guy is still alive. I have a book with his name. This guy, I had the friend that I was learning with. I was learning with him in the same yeshiva. It's famous in Israel, in the yeshiva world. He was born knowing all the Torah. But he wouldn't get any reward for this knowledge, because this is the Torah is the efforts. Then the Torah says, Im en ani li mili. If I won't take care of myself, nobody will ever do the job for me. Not my children, not my parents, not my Rabbi. They all can assist me. Not my wife. They can assist me a lot. My Rabbi, my wife, they can push me in the right direction. They can teach me. They can make comments. They can give me musar. Yes, it's helping. If I won't decide to do it, nobody will do it for me. I always say to myself, when you fly to Israel, if you take that feeling with you, you will have feeling when you get to Israel. You put it in a suitcase, maybe you will, maybe not. Maybe it's going to be in Brussels or in Paris. You understand? What you do, you can rely on yourself. What you rely on other people to do for you, maybe they will, maybe not. But you're in their hand already. You're in their hand. You know that the Ari HaKadosh, 500 years ago, the biggest Mekubal in history after Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that wrote the Zohar 2,000 years ago, the Kabbalah. The world is very anxious to know about Kabbalah in this generation. But all the Kabbalah they teach today, it's all nonsense. They mixed it with all kinds of balonies to make it commercial and to sell books and to get donations from people. It's a bunch of liars and crooks running this whole show. But the real Kabbalah, it's a different world. First of all, you have to be 40 years old to start. You have to be married. You have to have children. You have to finish the entire Torah. And not everybody finish by age 40 the entire Torah. Very few people can get to this level. They don't eat meat. They go to mikveh every day. They do all kinds of things. How many people can live such a lifestyle? You know how difficult it is? They take every girl, every prostitute from the MTV that dance naked and bring her to learn Kabbalah. What is this nonsense? Who are you fooling? But the people are fools. And they don't know the conditions. So everybody got into it. I'm talking the real one. The real one is 500 years ago, the Ari, everything we know comes from the Ari. Until 500 years ago, we didn't know anything about it. For 1,500 years, people were afraid to touch the Zohar. The book is for 1,500 years. No rabbi is daring to touch it. That's how scary it was. Until came the Ari HaKadosh 500 years ago. Go to Tzfat, to his grave. There's a big tomb on his grave.
In the mikveh.
Oh, in the mikveh. For sure you'll be religious in your lifetime. You're lucky. Everyone who goes into the mikveh of the Ari, guaranteed to become religious. If you have friends that don't want to become religious, tell them, just do me one favor. Go to the mikveh 1 minute. The rest will be history. So, the Ari told his student, Rabbi Chaim Vital, that is buried in Syria. Rabbi Kaduri, before he passed away, he got permission from Assad to go to Syria to pray in the grave of Rabbi Chaim Vital. Even though Syria is an enemy country, he got special permission. He went with few rabbis to Syria to pray in the grave of Rabbi Chaim Vital. Everything we know in Kabbalah came from his hand. Because the Ari himself never wrote anything. He was talking and he was writing. And this is what he told him. By looking at the face of a person, all these lines on the forehead, all the images of the face, you can see everything about the spiritual status of the human being. Everything. Not only that, you know that the laws of modesty for Jewish female is very strict. She has to cover everything, no pants, no miniskirts, no open ear. Everything has to be covered. And even when she gets married, she has to cover her hair. The Torah never permitted the ladies to cover their face. The Muslim made it up. It's against the law. God is not allowing the Jewish ladies to cover their face. In Hebrew, the word face is panim. Panim in Hebrew means inside. Panim, pnim, the same word. Face and inside, two different words, same writing, same spelling, same everything. Panim. The face shows who you are 100%. There are still rabbis in the world today, by looking at you, and they know everything about you. You don't need to open your mouth. Mute. You stand like this, they know everything about you. By looking at the forehead and the eyes, you see right away. Through the eyes, you can see if a person is a murderer or not. Right away. There are other ways to know. That's called chokhmat hapartzuf. There's a way from the hands to know things. All these lines. There's a whole book in Kabbalah about the hand. Today, it's very complicated to know by the hands. But by the face, there are still people who know. And listen good to that. Where is it mentioned in the Torah? The face. Yesterday, in a parasha that we read in a synagogue. We read Parashat Yitro, Jethro. Yitro was a convert. He was the pope of that generation. When he saw the Jews receive the Torah in Mount Sinai, after the miracles that they came out of Egypt, he ran to Moshe. And he told him, now I know your God and your way is the only good way. He threw all his idols, all his beliefs. He was an expert in different religions. He converted, and Moshe married his daughter Tzipora. The Kabbalah teaching us that Yitro was a reincarnation of Cain that murdered his brother Hevel. In the beginning of the Torah, Cain and Hevel had a fight, two brothers. Why did they fight? Because Cain had one twin born with him, and Hevel had two twins born with him. The Torah wasn't given yet, so it wasn't against the law to have relation with your sister. It wasn't against the law. Only later when the Torah was given, people found out. Actually, by the time of Noah, 4,200 years ago, God told the people they're not allowed to do it. But in the beginning of the creation, they're born with their sister. Cain had only one female. Hevel had two. Cain was jealous and he murdered him for that. In their next life, Moshe is Hevel. Hevel was reincarnated in the body of Moshe. Cain was reincarnated in the body of Yitro. Yitro made repentance by converting and giving his daughter to Moshe, which actually now is Cain, making repentance and giving a girl to who? To Moshe, which is Hevel, to correct what he did to him in a previous life. A part of the soul of Cain went into the body of the Egyptian man that the Torah said that he was beating up the Jew, and Moshe killed him by mentioning the name of God, which is 72 letters. He didn't touch him. Moshe said special words, Kabbalah words, the clear name of God, which is 72 letters, and the Egyptian died right away and was buried also. That's the reason why Moses had to escape out of Egypt, because he was the prince by Pharaoh. Pharaoh raised him with Batia. He had to run away from Egypt. And then only when he was 80 years old, God came to him and said, the people who are asking for your life, they all passed away. You can return back to Egypt. And that's how the salvation started. This is the story. When Yitro came, we read it yesterday in the Torah, Yitro told Moshe an advice. What's the advice? Moshe came, and this is Yom Kippur. After 120 days that Moshe was in the mountain, 3 periods of 40 days, altogether 120 days, which is exactly like his lifetime. His lifetime is also 120 years, and he was 120 days in the mountain. And when he came down, it was Yom Kippur. The Torah said the next day, Vayeshev Moshe lishpot et ha'am. He was sitting and he was opening a court, Jewish court. And all the Jews who had delegations, money issues, came to the trial, one to the other. Come this ex-goy and comes to Moshe and says, what are you doing? How can one person judge a whole nation? You have to hire judges, older people, Sarei Alafim, judges that are in charge of thousands, judges that are in charge of hundreds, judges who are in charge of tens, and let them judge. This is what Yitro told him. Yitro told him, Ve'ata techeze. מה זה techeze? You're going to see. Techeze means in Ruach HaKodesh. Every time the Torah uses the word tir'eh, means to see with your eyes. Techeze, lachazot, it's prophecy. Chose, it's navi. Chose. Prophecy. Rashi writes, Beruach HaKodesh, in a holy vision. Yitro says to him, בחוכמת הסוד על ידי חוכמת הפרצוף. You have the ability to look at the face of a person and to know if he's holy or not. You choose the judges, let them do the work. והדבר הגדול יביאו אליך. And all the big cases, they'll bring to you because you're the main judge. But don't be bothered with $100 lawsuits, two people fight over a fence. It's not respectable for you. This is the difference between the Jews and all the other nations. What's the difference? In the court in United States and in any other court in the world, how do they assign judges to the case? Based on how much money is this? If it's $1,000 lawsuit, then don't take a 40 years judge with the greatest reputation to bother with $1,000 case. This is for beginners. $1,000. If it's a $20 million lawsuit, $200 million lawsuit, Microsoft against Intel, against this, then they get the best judges. Because they go by how much money. But by the Torah, it doesn't matter how much money is the justice. And the Torah says that we do not go, because right after that, the Torah changed the world. He said the greatest cases, the biggest cases, they should bring to you. The Torah changed the world. The Torah says the hardest cases they have to bring to you. Yitro say, let them bring the big cases, the bombastic amounts to you. God say, no, that's not what I want. The hardest cases, the legal hardest cases that are complicated, witnesses, no witnesses, contradiction, this, that, this they have to bring to you. Irrelevant if it's 1,000 or 1,000,000. Doesn't matter for me. You need the knowledge to know how to find the truth. Whether it's 1,000,000, whether it's 100 million. By the goyim is only by the amount. Doesn't matter. So sometimes you find that there is a very, very complicated case. You need a very sharp judge with lots of experience to know who deserves what. But since it's only $10,000, they don't care about it. So they make a mistake. So the wrong guy got the $10,000. But for the other guy, it could be his life. He may lose his home because of that. They don't care. It goes by the amount. That's why they gave a beginner to trial the case. By us, it doesn't matter the amounts. We first see how complicated is the deal, and that's how we go. The last thing for tonight. What is the source of laziness? Where does it come from? First thing, no fear from God. If a person has fear from God, definitely, nowhere in the world he would lay down in bed at 10 o'clock like this. Nowhere in the world. He would be very embarrassed from God. I'll give you an example. If he's working for his boss in a company, and he knows the boss put a candy camera, he knows it's not a candy camera, it's a camera above his bed. And the boss saw that he's late so many times, so the boss said, you know what, I'm going to put a camera on your bed, you have to sleep in this bed, I want to see what time, how are you getting up, what's your excuses? Knowing the camera of the boss is watching him, what do you think would happen at 7 in the morning? He'll be already dressed after his coffee. He has fear from his boss. Big deal. Another individual for $100 he make a day, he would never dare to sleep past 7 o'clock. My boss is watching me. It's an embarrassment. See me snoring at 9 o'clock in the morning. What happened to you? My mother didn't feel good. I had to take her to the doctor. What are you talking about? Come see yourself snoring at 9:30. Oh, you got me, boss. If a person would treat God just as he treats his boss, how would he wake up at 10, 11, 12 when he had to pray at 7 in the morning? When they killed Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, Imach Shimo V'Zichro, the one who started the Hamas, all their murders goes to his account. And his hell becoming deeper and deeper by the minute for establishing such a terrorist organization that shoot rockets, thousands of rockets on innocent civilians, and all the other things that they do. Even against their own nation, what do? Forget about it. I'll show you a film from a wedding of the Fatah, the Hamas and the Fatah. A guy in the middle of his wedding, they come with jeeps and butchered everybody. Cousins, brothers, they have no God, no nothing. Baloney, religion. No. They don't have any religion. Religion says you should not kill anyone. No. Cannot kill people. Jew cannot kill Goyim. Goyim cannot kill Jews. In a war, it's a different story. In a war, in a battle, one country against the other for different reasons, fine. You fight for your country. You're trying to put... But just to kill people like this, to come in a wedding, shoot. No. When he was killed by the Israeli Air Force, when was he killed? Do you know what time? 5 a.m. after he finished his morning prayers. The biggest murderer in this generation finished to pray to God with his wheelchair at 5 o'clock. You got it? Why are we suffering so much from the Arabs? 5 o'clock he finished praying already. Read the letters that he wrote. to spill the blood of every Israeli kid. The baby is no difference. Read the Mana of the Hamas, the foundation of the Hamas. It's in the internet. Put the Hamas organization, the guidelines. You see what he wrote. Exactly like Hitler, no different. 5 o'clock, when the missile blew his head, that was after he finished, say Allahu Akbar in the morning at 5 o'clock. You understand? You understand? You understand why they're successful in their evil mission? That's why. Laziness, we're paying the price, don't think. The Torah says, Abali ta'er mesayim lo. If a Jew comes, any person, not necessarily a Jew, but if a Jew comes to Hashem, help me to purify my soul, it's guaranteed that God will help him. If he really wants, not just giving nice speeches. Hashem, Yom Kippur, I want to be Shomer Shabbat. Well, he pray, he already have a picnic on Shabbat with his girlfriend. I don't know, who are you fooling? Come on. Hashem, I really want to be righteous. And Hashem sees right, he'll help you out. What does the Torah say? Open me a hole in the size of a needle, and I open you the whole world. Just show me you really want, I'll do the rest for you, God says. If we are in this situation still, that means we didn't even open the size of a needle. If we open the size of a needle, believe me, you'll be already in a very good place by now. Someone that is lazy, he cannot get up to make himself a cup of tea. 2 hours, 3 hours he wait until his wife passed by. Oh, Rivka! Good, you show up. Can you make me tea? 3 hours he's sitting. Should I get up? Should I not get up? That's how lazy. You should know, once a person falls into this bad trait, he's drowning. Eventually he's drowning in it completely. That he cannot work anymore. Cannot do anything in his life. Nothing whatsoever. This is one of the things that drag a person lower and lower and lower until his drowning is finished spiritually. Laziness. And that even a person that is lazy, when he tells you that he learns Torah, he never learns. He sits with the book open, he never learns. Why? Torah is difficult to learn. Lazy people looking for shortcuts. They don't really learn. Check! Here, go, by the end of the day, ask him, what did you learn today? They never know anything. Same thing, there are people who come here to lectures, not once after the lecture they are able to tell what they heard for the last 2 hours. Not once. What happened? They come, they sit, they sleep. Why? It's a little bit difficult to follow. They're not looking for challenges. Just give me easy, easy. That's why most people don't come to lectures anymore. They have it in the internet. DivineInformation.com, it's on the screen. Rabbi, I see you every night. Why do I have to travel all the way? What does the Torah say? The Torah say every step you get a separate reward. You can also pray at home, but it's not good. It's better to come to the synagogue. The more a person is close to the truth, the more the people hate him. That's another rule, remember. The more you are closer to God, and know the secrets of life, people will hate you the more. I give you one example. Most of the Gentiles hate Jews. Not all of them. Some of them are very good and righteous and nice people, and some of them save Jews and risk their own life. Yes, we know that. And some of them appreciate the Jews and admire the Jews. There's all kinds of Gentiles. But most of them will be very happy to see Israel destroyed. Look at the United Nations, what anti-Semites sits there every day. What they say against Israel. Every vote is against Israel for years. Everywhere. All the Arabs, almost all of them hate Jews. The Europeans, most of them hate Jews. Even in the United States, they had half of the Americans hate Jews. In Poland, almost everybody hates Jews. In Russia, almost everybody hates Jews. And this is hundreds of millions of people. We're not talking 1 or 2. Yes. Why? Because the Jews are the only descendants that got the truth from God. Everything else is nonsense. As long as the Jews practice their book, it shows how miserable we are in our nonsense. That's why the Romans, why do they have to come from Italy to Israel with horses to destroy the little building? Why do you care that the Jews worship their God in this mountain in Jerusalem? Why did it bother the Roman Empire to come all the way with thousands of soldiers in the snow, in the heat, with horses to come 3 years to ambush Jerusalem? 3 years. Jerusalem was surrounded with a wall. For 3 years they sit and wait. The soldiers, just to destroy the temple. Why? The Babylonians, the same story. Egypt, the same story. All the kingdoms, all the empires, as soon as they controlled the world, the first thing on their mind was to go and destroy Israel. Why? We're not even neighbors. Why Babylon has to come thousands of miles to Israel to destroy us? What do we have to do with them? Why the Greeks has to destroy us? What's going on here? Very simple. As long as your candle is shining, it shows how nonsense we are. The only way to bring ourselves up is to bury you. That's why it bothers them very much. But it's not only between Goyim and Jews. No. It's between Jews to Jews. The more religious you are, the more your liar environment hates you more and more. If you're a little bit religious, they can stand you still. But if you listen to God 100%, they can't stand you. Oh, you're fanatic, you're crazy, you're too strict. I'm sure that's not what God wants. They're allergic to you. That's the truth. That's the truth. Many people, they tell their children, women, religious like this Mizrachi, I don't mind you're going to be. Until they hear my first lecture. These guys crazy. Forget about it, don't go to his lectures anymore. Why? They don't see the big beard, they don't see black hat, they don't see all the custom. They go by the outside. People don't have the ability to dig inside. They only go by the outside image, which is all nonsense. So they judge you based on your look. But once they begin to hear what you have to say, oh, why? Because I said that Mechalel Shabbat is worse than a murderer. It drives them crazy. But I didn't write the Torah. Do you have any problem with me? Please show me what I'm saying is not true. I'll show you where it's in the Torah. What's the argument is very simple. It's either in the Torah or not. If it's not in the Torah, I would be vanished a long time ago. I wouldn't be around for 14 years, no? The rabbis would clean me out. Why you say things that are not in the Torah? Some rabbis were cleaned out because they say some things that are not in the Torah. Believe me, they're not around anymore. I am very careful. If I say something, no matter what I say, you come to me, I'll show you it's in the Torah. Why do I have to exaggerate? Why do I have to make up things? Why? I have thousands of things. Legit. Why do I have to be a liar? Why? Besides that the Torah warned that if you lie to people to make them religious, it's only an illusion. Because God hates lies. Midvar sheker tirchak. There's not going to be blessing in it. No, it's only going to make an impact for a few months, and then it will be over. I'll tell you a last story to send you home. The Chinese found a way to catch fish. They have a very interesting way to catch fish. There's a bird, it's called shalach. This bird, they have a very long beak, very long. And the birds, as soon as they see fish inside, we cannot see it. Boom! In less than a second, they catch the fish. Small, big, doesn't matter. They grab him. So the Chinese, they took a rope and they put it around the neck of these beaks. And he sits with the beak in his boat. And the beak catch a fish. And as soon as the bird, the shalach, is about to swallow the fish, they pull the rope and they choke him. And he goes like this. He opens up his beak, and the fish falls into the boat. Sounds like a joke. It's 100% that's how they catch. Very interesting way. I want to ask you a question. What's wrong with this bird? First time, fine. Second time, no. What, are you a moron? Hundreds of times you catch the fish. Every time you're about to swallow, We are worse than this bird. How many times we saw proofs, we still have doubts. How many times that Hashem show us that He watch over us and He does things for us. We are like this bird. Yes, 5 minutes we understand. 5 minutes later, golden calf. What's going on? This is the big. We never learn. A person that runs after pleasures, thinking is going to bring him happiness, should have known by now that no money and no physical pleasure ever made a person happy. Never. It's only temporary illusion. Buy a new car, you are happy for 1 month. A month later, you don't want to look at that. Thinking how I'm going to change my Mercedes. Oof, it's annoying, this car already. What do you mean? Just a month ago, you worship the car. If somebody touch it with his dirty hands, no, don't touch. What happened now? You saw in America, there's some minorities that they're not so rich. They save a lot of money penny by penny until they buy a sport car. They put spoilers, all kinds of extras. They put big speakers. When they drive in the neighborhood, everybody knows to have that Mr. Williams is driving right now. How can he enjoy his new car without it? This is their life. Take this car away from him. Prozac. What happened, Mr. Williams? My life is over. Take the ball away from him. Doesn't want to leave. This is the purpose of life. This is the purpose of life. Some Jews are much worse than this Mr. Williams. They go to watch him play. At least he makes money. We lose money. You understand the difference? He at least has an excuse. When he comes in front of God, God tells him, Mr. Williams, why are you such a fool? All your life you play basketball. There's other things in life. So he would say, God, I made $10 million a year. What do you want? It's a big test. What the Jews will have to answer, that he spent $200 or $300 every night on this nonsense, instead of sit and learn Torah and listen to God, what the Jews will answer. The Jew won't have what to answer. At least he makes money. Plus he's a goy. Doesn't have to sit and learn Torah. He can play basketball. It's not a sin for him. There's other things in life that the goyim can achieve. No goy goes to hell for playing basketball. For the Jews, it's the beginning of their distractions. Once they become addicted to sport, they become Greeks. Who made sport? The Greeks. Sparta. Comes from Sparta. Sport, Sparta. This is the opposite of the truth of God. We didn't come to this world to prove that we swim better than fish, to get a gold medal. Hashem wanted us to be swimmers, we become a shark. You don't have to be Yosef or Yitzchak to swim. If you want to show that you lift 400 pounds, you'll be a gorilla. He takes the weight like this. What's the problem? All his life to lift weights, to run. The squirrel runs faster, this little squirrel. No matter what you're going to think about, that's not the purpose of life. They don't have intelligence like us. We have something unique. God gave it to us. The manufacturer gave us something unique. What for? To put it in a closet for 70 years until we die? Come on. כך היא דרכה של תורה. This is the way of the Torah. פת במלח תאכל. If you have bread and salt, also good. I'm perfectly fine with that. מים במשורה תשתה. Water in a broken tool, hardly, not so, Rabbi, I don't drink water from the faucet. Only bottles, I'm sorry. You don't have bottle? That's most of the people today. No? Very good. ועל הארץ תישן. You don't have $1,000 mattress. It's okay, you can sleep on the floor. Put a towel and sleep on the floor. No, it's not so comfortable. Big deal. I didn't come here to enjoy the physical world. It's temporary. My soul is divine, endless energy. If God wanted the soul to enjoy sleeping on a good mattress, what's the point of this whole life? I came here, Rabbi, I cannot live without this car. You know how happy I am when I drive it? It shows how miserable you are. It just shows, yeah, it's a mental disease. And society is very sick. Very sick. Very sick. How can it not be sick? That a guy that somebody told him buy a stock and the stock went up, he sits in jail more years than a rapist. How can it not be sick society? I know a guy, somebody told him buy this company. The stock went up a month later, they found out that he bought too many stocks. He got 6 years in prison and $10 million fine. Even the rapists don't get that. He destroyed the life of a woman. It's worse than a murder, really, if you think about it. How much they get? 2 years, 3 years. In Israel, forget it. It's even worse than it. Here, at least they get few years. In Israel, a person can rape and get out of jail in less than a year. It's hard to believe what's going on here. The judges are merciful. They have mercy for the murderers. What about the victim? No, what can we do? A person has spiritual ability more than he can ever imagine. Most people say, I can't. That's the maximum religious I can be. The maximum. I can't be more than that. What, do you want me to be depressed? Slowly. Poco. Rabbi, I can't. Slow, calm down. I can't. Give him $1 million a week. Baba Sali will be nothing compared to him. Give him $1 million a week. 4 o'clock in the morning is going to be in a shul. Hashem, you are the only one. So you see that he's lying. Why he say he can't? It's all a lie. You don't want. Why? The money is more important than eternal spiritual life. The Torah says, I say it in every lecture, there's a reason for it. If you take all the pleasure of all the people of all the generations combined, any pleasure you can think of all the people from all the previous generations, include this one, combined, will not be equal to the reward of one Jew in the next eternal life. For 1 hour will not be equal. Think for a minute. All the money, all the art, all the sport, all the women, all the food, all the sports, all the hobbies, all the jewelry, whatever you can think of all the people, of thousands of years combined. You want a mountain of pleasure. Won't reach the reward of ordinary Jew that listens to God. Don't steal, don't speak gossip, eat kosher, keep himself modest, observe the Sabbath. Big deal! What's the big deal? You sleep on Sabbath, you read a little bit, you eat some great meat, you take a walk with your wife and children, and you get a huge reward for that? Where do you find a better thing? The Torah didn't tell us to kill ourselves, to torture ourselves, to be a priest, that you're not allowed to get married. No, you're allowed to have a beautiful wife. You're allowed to enjoy with her as much as you want, on and off, that you won't get tired. You have to be on and off. Everything physical is on and off, otherwise it dies. That's why Hashem made a woman with a period. Every month, 10 days, 12 days, time out, on, time out, on, time out. Otherwise it's worthless. 6 months later you can look at her, and she can look at you. Like everything else. You eat steak every day, you vomit. You eat banana ice cream every day, you vomit. In the beginning you enjoy, a month later when they bring you the banana ice cream, no, please, what happened? A month ago you killed for it. What changed? Can't look at it anymore. 30 times a month, same ice cream. Just follow the laws of the Torah. What's the big deal to be grateful, to say thank you, to bless God after you eat? What's the big deal? What does God ask from us? It's much less than what we think. I know I said 10 minutes ago that I'll finish the lecture, but I feel that God wants me to speak another 5 minutes. And I know I'm forcing the Torah on you, but when we come to the next life, you're going to run after me to thank me for every extra minute. That's why I allow myself, because I know what's going to be. Not that I'm a prophet, I just know what the Torah says. For every minute of learning Torah is that every word has an average 5 letters. Every word. Each letter, it's a separate mitzvah. Did you know it? Learning Torah, it goes by how many letters comes out of the mouth of the speaker and of the listeners. How many letters you hear. I just said more than 1 million letters in this lecture. Each letter is a mitzvah for you. You already made more mitzvot, some of you, in your entire life in the last 2 hours. To wait another 5 minutes or no? What do you say? An average person say 200 words in a minute. Each word has 5 letters in average. Some 7, some 3. Average 5. That's 1,000 mitzvot per minute. Extra 5 minutes, 5 more 1,000 mitzvot. Imagine yourself putting tefillin 5,000 times in the next 5 minutes. Is it possible? It's a very, very good investment, no? 5 more minutes to sit and enjoy some words. When for sure that once the lecture will be over, you're going to stand half an hour outside and talk about nonsense. If you run home to your wife, darling, I'm sorry I'm late, I know you missed me, then that's my fault, you're right. And plus, the battery usually died after an hour, and it's already less for more than 2 hours, which is another miracle here. But now I have 4 minutes left. A person has unlimited amount of energy, spiritual. If a person is sick today, high fever, and he lay down in bed, Itzik, why you didn't come to yeshiva to learn Torah today? Rabbi, you should see how I am. I have fever, I'm exhausted, I can't move from bed, I'm very sick. I have a virus, I can't move. No problem, the Rabbi said, refuah shlema, feel better. If tomorrow you don't come, we come to visit you. Visit the sick, no problem. What happened 10 minutes later? If the wife of this Itzik comes quickly to the room, Itzik, what? A car hit our son Moshe. Wow, we got hit. Let's take him to the hospital. What happened to this Itzik now that was laying in bed like this? Take the blanket away, jump, puts his jacket on, right away, runs outside, he takes the boy, 10 years old boy, is heavy. I'm telling you, it happens to someone I know. He runs with him looking for a cab. Religious people in Israel usually don't have cars. So he's looking for a cab now, or a ride. He runs with him in the street. 10 minutes ago he said to the Rabbi, I'm dead, I cannot move. He runs to the hospital. He waits there for 4 hours. He reads the whole Tehillim. What? No food, no nothing. What happened? It's all in the head. A person that needs to pick up a car will pick up a car. There's something called adrenaline. You have no idea how much you can do. When you need to do it, you'll do it. I saw a car stopped in an accident right on the leg of a woman. Not a man, a woman. The car, the tire is on her leg. She picked up the car in Israel and took her leg out. From the anxiety, from her, she was so nervous, she picked up the car and took her leg. How is it possible? You have no idea how much strength we have if we only want. It's all in the hand. It's all in the head of a person. Every year, Hashem decides how much suffering we're going to have this year. How we're going to receive it, it's our free choice. If we got 100 kilo of suffering, we can get it by getting up early to pray, by putting tefillin, by learning Torah. We're going to have less different kinds of suffering. If we sleep and do nothing and only want to enjoy, the suffering comes from IRS, from jail, from losing our license, from breaking the head, from breaking the leg, from being in a cast for 6 months, all different kinds of suffering. The suffering comes one way or the other for the sins. How to suffer, it's 100% in your hands. If you show God that you're putting all your efforts on listening to Him, He takes away from other suffering. If you don't, you suffer anyway. But you lose the reward, so what's the point here? Why can people open up their head already? It's all from the Torah, I tell you. The suffering comes one way or the other. HaKadosh Baruch Hu never asks from a person more than his ability. Never. If God says to do this, then it's easy, you can do it. And what's the proof? There are 10 kosher animals in the world. Most of the animals are not kosher. There are 10 kosher animals: deer, giraffe, cow, sheep, different kinds of animals, roosters. They are kosher, 10 altogether that the Jew can eat. Bison, it's also kosher. Fine, 10 animals. Only 3 of them God said to sacrifice. Which 3? The 3 that we have in our neighborhood. Not the deer, not the animals that run in a mountain, because it's hard to catch them. Sheep, cows, things that we put, the ayil, keves, and para, 3 animals that hardly moves. Even a kid can run faster than them and catch them. This you sacrifice. Why not deers? Go and catch a deer now. Why? I know, I'm not interested that you kill yourself. No, everything is easy. Why didn't ask to sacrifice all the 10 kosher animals? What's the difference? Why only the 3? They're not more kosher than the other, don't get me wrong. They're equally kosher. You can eat this, you can eat that. But those 3, it's easy to get, so sacrifice them, it's enough. Don't worry about the other 7. Rabbi Zusha, one of the biggest Hasidim, he said to his student, when I come to God after 120 years, I'm not afraid that he's going to ask me why I wasn't the Baal Shem Tov. I'm afraid he's going to ask me why I wasn't Rabbi Zusha. Why you did not fulfill your own potential. Why you did not fulfill your own potential. What does it mean Melech in Hebrew? King, Melech. Mem, Lamed, Chaf. What does it stand for? Mem is Moach, brain. Lamed is Lev, heart. Chaf, it's Kaved, the liver. When the right order is brain, heart, and liver, you are a king. When the heart overcomes the brain, you are a loser, you're nothing. Most people follow their desires, their heart, not the truth. The truth is the brain. The soul is in the brain. The evil inclination is in the heart, and the liver is the blood of all the pleasure and the food. What creates the blood? Moach, lev, kaved. Finally, when we find a person that is a hard-working guy, check what he puts all his efforts on. All 100% nonsense. Running here, running there, business, buying another store, buying another car, convention, in courts, fighting, going to the clubs until 4 o'clock at night. What? Killing himself. In the end, when he's going to be 70 years old with cancer, a Chinese doctor will come and say, Mr. Cohen, here is a cure for your cancer. But I see you have $100 million. I want you to give me 99 million and I give you the medicine. And he will give him. So why did you run 50 years after all this? You put all your blood into it when you're willing to give it in a second just to get another day of life. See, all your life is a lie. I killed myself 50 years to make $100 million. You want to give me a cure for 99 million? Sure. I left you $1 million, the Chinese will say. Nobody has the cure. It's made in China. It cost me $1 to make. You drink it, you get out of the hospital in 1 hour. How much I have? 1 minute left? Time is the biggest enemy. Time is running out. When a person is born, he begins to die. It's a battery. As soon as you open the pack, put it in, 100, 99, 98. I never understood why people make birthdays. You should make a very sad day. What happened? It's my birthday today. Well, my life is shorter. By the way, in Judaism, birthday is not such a good thing. Why? Who did we